Okay, this is a lesson on positive and negative shapes. In this example of this ram, we have a drawing of the ram and the background is the negative space. The ram is the positive space. When you flip those, the background is filled in and it is the positive space, and the outline of that ram becomes the negative space because it is blank. In this project, you're going to grab a couple objects. I would go into your kitchen and look for a picture or an interesting mug that you would like to draw the contour. So a contour is the outside edge. It is not drawing what is in the middle. So you would ignore the pattern here and you would only draw the outside edge. So that's what a contour is. See if you could find any interesting shapes. Shells are a good, interesting shape. So you'll have one complex shape and you'll have one simple shape. So shells could be drawn lots of different ways. They could be drawn from the front so it's spiky. They could be drawn from a different view. But remember, you don't need any of this detail. You only need the outside contour edge. So pick objects that might be interesting contour-wise. A shell is great if you have them. If you don't have a shell, look for something else. This would be a simple shape to draw, and what you're going to do is pick a couple. You could lay them out on your table, and you can draw one at a time. You're going to draw a contour of one jar and one shell, 1 to 3 shells. This project did one shell and one picture. Now they didn't show any overlapping, which creates new, interesting, positive shapes, or negative shapes. So you can pick something and overlap it. I'll show you another example here of more complicated ones. So this one here has some overlapping. So see how 2 shells were put together and now their contour is one, and you wouldn't see that line. So overlapping is interesting in this, but you will not see those overlapping lines. You will just have 2 objects on top and that line erased. So use about 3/4 of the space for your shapes. On this one, you'll notice it's a lot of blank paper, but the contour is the important part of those shapes. So unique contour. Use a Sharpie to fill the negative space. Once you have drawn your objects, maybe sometimes they're overlapping. Once you've drawn that, outline it in Sharpie. You could do a colored Sharpie, you could do a black Sharpie, whatever you'd like. And then the background, think about the Zentangles. The background, which is now the what used to be the negative space, now becomes the positive space because it is what has the most detail. And you're going to fill it with a texture pattern. Think about waves, if you know they're beach shells. Think about any Zentangle pattern. You can do one pattern throughout the entire thing. It'll keep the focus on the shapes and just have a nice black background. Or you could mix it up. This one's all bubbles, this one's all waves. You'll notice how the space is then reversed, whereas this negative space, which was an object, this shell, is now white, and the background creates the outline of that. So it's kind of a play on positive and negative. So you need paper, Sharpies, your still life objects, and use a pencil, and be really neat with your outline, your contour, so that it's unique and has a lot of texture on it, and then you'll fill with a texture pattern or a Zentangle in the background. Have a great time working on it.